So session one lesson is really about setting up your learning environment and you really understanding why you're doing what you're doing. So it's about the learning connection. What are the resources we have in our district that we could do a better job of connecting? And so when you think about the learning and all the things that the kids produce, how do we keep those documents, those resources, those examples, those projects in a format that is digital so that we can assess them and give them back and share them? So today's lesson is going to start with something very simple, and that is showing you how to present something in your day-to-day world, whether it's your syllabus, your class rules, a project direction, how to create those on a Google Doc and then present them on MyConnect so that the excuse of I lost the paper is taken out of the equation. But before we get there, I want to just walk you through this little presentation I made to make sure we're all on the same page with our learning. So, it's very important that you understand in our district that the front door to all of our cloud-based tools is MyPlan. Some of our tools, like MyConnect, for example, you could come in through a side door, but you don't want to confuse the students. So your best message is to tell your kids, always go in through MyPlan to access the tools that you're going to be using in your classroom. So MyPlan is the front door. Once they get through the front door, then they're going to go to the digital classroom, the classroom where they can find the resources that were presented in the physical space in a virtual space. And that particular tool is called MyConnect. Once they're in the digital classroom, what are the tools that they can use then to demonstrate their understanding? And we are going to focus in this TLC on Google Drive. However, we're not going to limit it to that because there's a lot of other really cool tools that can be accessed through the Google account. And I want to make sure you guys have an opportunity to select. And then the final piece of that is, how do we manage all of that learning and what is the best way? Currently, people using Google, they're having the kids create something and then share it with the teacher. So that by sharing it, they're putting their name, they're finding your name in the email box in the share button. The problem with that is, one, if you don't know how to turn it off, you're getting a bazillion emails. And the second problem is your share drive is just this mass ball of confusion. So I want to show you how you can manage and assess the learning in a much more efficient and timely way using this TLC. And I'm using a little tool called Simple Booklet, and we have to put up with some ads because I didn't pay. Okay, so as a refresher, the front door to our PUSD cloud is MyConnect. Now, right now, every student uses their student ID and initially their birth date. At the 612 level, we highly nag them to change their password, but we don't force them. So I am going to ask you that you create a recommendation that all your kids change their passwords because they're starting to mess around with each other and we're going to have to force it anyway. So you might as well let them be in control of it. Once they are through the front door, then they're going to log into their digital classroom. Now they do have to log in a second time using the same credentials to MyConnect, and that is because MyConnect lives in its own cloud. It is not living in the secure MyPlan cloud, but it doesn't mean it's not secure, it's just we have two entrances. Once you are into MyPlan, you have access to a variety of digital tools, whether it be the Student Report Center, which I'm going to talk real briefly about, Synergy, Worldbook, etc. And this might look different for students, by the way. But most importantly, there's that Google Apps. Now, I want you as a classroom teacher to go to the Student Report Center. Then you're going to click on Classes and then the tab Miscellaneous. We've created a report that you can print out of all your students' Google accounts and their passwords so that you at the elementary level don't have to worry about that. Those of you at the secondary level, that's probably not as hot a topic initially, but it's a good resource to have as you get started down this road. So basically what we're doing is we're going in through MyPlan, jumping into MyConnect, the virtual classroom, and then we're accessing the digital application tools through Google Drive. Now, digital application tools could be your Google Docs, but there are a lot more in there. For example, MindMo, that's one of my most recent mind mapping apps that can be added to the Google Drive for students. Very fun and very effective. Now, let's jump ahead and get into the Google Drive. When the students log in on a Chromebook, they're going to use their Google accounts. They have to get through Lightspeed, so they're going to go to block.com. Once they've gone through block.com, then they're going to just go to google.com and they will see that they can log in, that they're already actually logged in, and they can get to their drive by clicking on the little quadrant box in the right corner. Once you're in your Google Drive, you then have access to all the Google applications that come pre-designed. Doesn't mean we can't add more, because I've added a lot more, but for the purpose of this initial exposure, the basic ones are Google Docs, which is like a Word doc, Google Draw, presentations is like PowerPoint, forms and spreadsheets, and or websites. The way that you get to them is you click the New button and then they present. What I want all of you to do is click the New button and create a folder for this TLC. We're going to begin to keep our work organized, and you want your students to keep their work organized as well. Once you go ahead and click on one of the apps, this is the basic structure for every single one of them. The first thing is it's going to open a new tab. So you'll notice here I'm pointing at my Google Drive. As soon as I click on New Google Doc, it opens a new tab or spawns a new tab, and it shows, in this case, the little blue piece of paper because I chose Google Docs. Then what you want to do is make sure that you instruct your students to immediately give the document a name, because it saves automatically. It doesn't, you don't have to go file, save, it automatically saves in the background, and you don't want to have to look at, 15 copies of untitled doc and try to remember which one is the document you were working on. Once you have the name titled, you'll notice there's a little folder directly after it. If you haven't put it in the right folder, you can click on that folder and then add it to the new TLC folder that you just made. Couple closing comments: when you're done with this document, but you're not done with your Google Drive, all you need to do is click on the X to close the actual document. That leaves you in your drive and you can continue working on other things. So basically, I have a course, and you can go ahead and go to that course. It's 14076 or 14076, and on this particular course I give the directions on how to use your Google Docs with an assignment and then how to collect it. But we're also going to be covering that in our TLC. One of the biggest problems with the Google Docs is, how do we share them? It's not really a big problem, I shouldn't say that, but it is one of the issues that tends to get in the way. So when the students either, one, get a document from your site, or two, create a document and they want to share it with you, what you want them to do is click on the Share button, and then they're going to expand out the Get Shareable link. And I, as an instructor, I want everybody to share with me with edit rights. So what this is reading, anyone at PUSD with the link can edit. So the students are going to set that particular parameter. They're going to share it with you on MyConnect, and only you have the ability to look at the document from MyConnect. So even though it says anyone from PUSD, only you can be able to edit it, you the teacher, because they've only shared it with you. Now if you want to see more features, go ahead and click the Advanced button and you can dive deeper into what the share possibilities are. We're going to be going over this more in depth later on. So basic level though is, for your knowledge from this session 1, you're going to have to create a document, and then you're going to have to share it with me with edit rights, and this is what you want to make sure you do. And then finally, you're going to turn that document in to me in my virtual wire basket. I do not want to collect any hard copy of any paperwork from you, primarily because I'll probably lose it. But secondly, I don't work that way. Why would you create something digitally, then print it out, give it to me, and I mark it up and then put it back digital? It just doesn't make sense at all. So we're going to keep it in the virtual wire basket. And oh, there's another little lab, so just ignore that. So quickly, what you're going to do is, as a teacher, on MyConnect, I create an assignment, and then I create a link to that assignment on my page, which is what I have done on our TLC site. This is an example of a page. For elementary or for people just starting out, if you want to just create a single page where all of your digital assignments are collected, it's going to make it much easier for you to keep organized this first round. So make a simple page called Digital Projects and put all of the digital projects on it. We're going to be coming back to this learning in our second TLC, in our second session. So don't worry if this is a little over your head right now. Just kind of relax and enjoy the view. From the perspective of a student, what they're going to do is they're going to go to their digital assignment that they've created, click the share, copy the URL, change the permissions if necessary, if you, the teacher, want them to, return to the MyConnect, and paste that URL into the assignment. At that point, as a reminder, when I create an assignment, in this case I created one called Google Draw, I go ahead and I reiterate those instructions. I don't give them any excuses as to why they couldn't do it. And then finally, that's the learning connection. And we'll come back to what this would look like in session 2. We're going to start session 2 with looking at the gradebook and what the assignment collection looks like.